welcome back to my channel. My name is Regina. If for those who don't know who I am, I live right here in Las Vegas. I do story times and vlogs of the city and things like that on my channel. I'm trying to explore things, but for now, right now, today's a story time video. And it's what prompted this video was I watched Sex and the City is one of my favorite TV shows. I've watched Sex and the City over 100 times. And I was watching an episode today, and it was about the abortion. Miranda got pregnant, and she had decided if she was gonna have an abortion or not. She wanted to tell Steve. It prompted this video because I don't think I ever made an abortion video, so I'm making it one today. So before I get into the video, I want to just say something real quick. I don't really talk about my abortion. I kind of put it on my mind a long time ago because I'm from a religious family, and I don't even think my brother knows I had an abortion. Because then I never really wanted to ask, because I think I was always more afraid to know what would be my consequence of having an abortion. You know what I mean? Like, what was the consequences? And what if at the end with the pearly gates, you think you're going to heaven and you meet God and God say, no, you're not going because you had an abortion and you committed murder, and that's one of my daily sins. One of my commandments, thou shalt not commit murder. So I've always been afraid to ask and been afraid to know the answer as well. So I kind of never asked, and I probably never will ask. I just don't know. And it terrifies me to know. So and my brother's a straight shooter, so he's going to tell you what it is. So, but I did have one when I was, how old was I? 19, 20? No, I had to be older than that, because maybe I was 21. Maybe I was around 21, maybe 22. I think I got my tubes out at 23. So I had to have it around 21, 22. So if anybody is looking, young girls out there who's looking and doing research, is in a situation right now. I don't know in this climate that we can even have abortions now. I don't think so. But if you can, and you guys are looking for somebody, a video about abortion and what it's like to have one and all of that, hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below, because I want to know your stories and your experiences and how it was for you when you had an abortion, if you've had one. And if you're thinking about having an abortion, do you have any questions that I can answer that I haven't answered in this video? So if you're interested, please watch the video to the very end. And so again, I was about 2021. My current husband, I cheated on my current husband, but we wasn't husband and wife. We were just boyfriend, girlfriend at the time. And I was with him now at this time. I probably was with him maybe a year or two. And I had met this other guy. And this other guy, he was just a guy that I was hanging out with. And I believe my baby father at the time had took the job in California. So he wasn't even out in Vegas anymore like that. He was back and forth to California and come back to Vegas. So while he was always gone, I always entertained myself with other guys in the city. And this guy, I couldn't tell you his name, but I remember he was really dark skinned, like he was really chocolate. And if you know me, I really like guys, because I'm dark skinned myself, and I usually date lighter skinned men, but that really doesn't matter. But in this story, it kind of does. So he was darker than me, way darker. And I remember the day I actually got pregnant. He took me somewhere in Summerlin. This is, at this time it was 2005, 2006, maybe even 2007. Vegas wasn't like what Vegas is right now. They built homes and built everything around town. So Vegas wasn't like what it was now. So it was a lot of empty spaces. So at this time he took me to Summerlin, and Summerlin had this waterfall place, and it was like a lake. He took me up there somewhere. And we was walking around and we had sex. It was just being young, wild, and free. Had sex up there and did what we did. And then it was maybe like, it probably was a week. Maybe it was a week because I was seeing him like every day. And maybe like a week later, I started throwing up. It was like my senses was on 1,000 because I already had a son already, so I knew what it was like to have morning sickness. To have, start throwing up and shit when you were pregnant. I instantly knew because it was like it caught me completely off guard. I just woke up one morning throwing up, and at first I didn't think anything of it, but when it kept on happening throughout the day, baby, I knew what time it was. I said, oh my God, I think I'm pregnant. So what I do, I took a pregnancy test, and sure enough, your girl was preggo. I instantly said, oh fuck, what am I going to do? Because my baby father is not the daddy. He is not the daddy. What the hell am I supposed to do? I had to tell him though, and that was pretty fucked up of me, but I had to tell him that I was pregnant. And so during this process, my baby father thought it was his. I couldn't tell him that I was cheating on him. I told the actual guy who I was pregnant by, and he was like, oh my God, he was excited. He really wanted a kid. He was like, we're going to get married now. And I was like, no, the hell we not. I said, boy, did you know I got a baby father? He will kick my ass. Well, at the time, he wasn't my baby father. But I was like, I got a man. I will not have your baby. You're a fool. I am not having your baby. And he's like, why not? He really wanted to have a family. He wanted to get married, the whole night. I was like, no, it ain't happening. So, I end up going through some stuff here in Vegas anyway, and I got sent to, I'm trying to get this glare out of here. I don't think it's going to happen because of how I'm parked. Okay, I'm going to have to turn around for a second. Maybe that'll work. Maybe a little bit. So I ended up having to go out of town anyway. I moved to Georgia. At this time, I was maybe a couple of months pregnant, 3, 4. Yeah, I had to be like 2, 3, maybe 4 months. Ended up going to Georgia. Staying in Georgia, maybe I was like 2 months. Because I think I came back like at 4 months. I told my mama when I was living in Georgia that I was pregnant. My other sister, my sister that's younger than me, was also pregnant. She was also pregnant. So both of us wanted an abortion at the same damn time. My mama wasn't having it. She was like, I'm only paying for one abortion. She paid for her daughter's abortion. My sister's name is Ashley. She paid for Ashley's abortion. So she was like, if you want an abortion, you have to pay for it yourself. This glare is driving me crazy. I gotta get this glare out of here. She's like, if you want an abortion, you have to pay for it yourself. I was like, well, you pay for Ashley's? She was like, I only can afford to pay for one abortion at a time. I'm not paying for both. So I was like, fuck. So at the time, I was still living in Georgia. I didn't want to be in Georgia because I was forced to go to Georgia. So I didn't want to be in Georgia. So she was like, if you want an abortion, you got to pay for it yourself. At this time, it just so happened, some money came in for Social Security for my other son, which got me out of Georgia, got me back to Vegas. Once I got to Vegas, I ended up going to California because that's where my baby father, boyfriend, was living. He was in California. So I got shipped from Georgia back to Vegas, stayed in Vegas for about a week, then went to California with him. While I was in California, this is where I had the abortion. I think at this time, it was 5 or 6 months. I was fully grown. California allowed me to still have an abortion during this time. Not a lot of states allow you to have abortion, I think past like 4 months or something. I was close to 6. But I did not. I was like, there's no way I can have this child. Like, I cannot have this child, because once I have this child, Maurice will automatically know, who baby is this? Because now while I'm in California, we're going to doctor's appointments. Maurice is crying. He's looking at, I have to be seen, like, because I'm still pregnant. I'm going to OBGYNs. I'm going to all these places. And he's hearing heartbeats and stuff. He's getting connected to the baby. And I know in my back of my mind, I'm finna get rid of this thing because this is not Maurice's kid. So I found a clinic in California that was willing to do it. I told Maurice, I'm not keeping the baby. It's not the right time for me to have a baby. Maurice was not happy about it, but he couldn't stop it because I was getting rid of his kid. So I made an appointment. I went. The first time I went, because I went like twice, the first time they wanted to meet me and sit down with me and ask me questions, why I want to do it. They try to counsel me and things like that. My mind was already made up, so there was really nothing that they could say to change my mind, because it was already made up. So they gave me pamphlets and all this stuff to follow up, and gave me all this stuff. Again, I didn't really care. I just had to go through the process for them to do it. So they made the appointment. I went back. That day, me and Maurice was arguing about something. I don't even know. Maybe he was just upset because of what was happening. And he was supposed to go with me. Then it was just a whole lot. So I ended up going to the abortion clinic by myself. I didn't really need anybody to hold my hand, because I didn't know what to expect anyway. Going through an abortion, I never knew anybody to have one. And I didn't talk to my sister about, getting an abortion and how she felt. I just remember when she had hers, she was very depressed for a while. So I was expecting to really be depressed. And I think the difference between her and I, while I was depressed and she was forced to have an abortion by my mom. I wanted an abortion. So our responses was completely different. So she was depressed because she wanted the baby, and I wasn't depressed because I didn't want mine, but I'll get there. So, they had a procedure. I went in, and they put me in a room. They put like these pills inside of my vagina, and it was to dilate the vagina. I don't remember how long it took. I don't, but I do remember they kept putting it in my vagina. Once it got to, I guess, 9 centimeters, 10 centimeters, however big it needs to be, they use this vacuum. I don't know what they use now. Maybe they use the same thing, but it was literally like a vacuum. And right near where my head was, there was like a canal. It was clear where all the stuff goes into this thing. That was the most horrible, horrific thing that they could do. They didn't have to do that. Like, they didn't have to do it. That could have been a black, so I couldn't see it. But I think they did that on purpose to make you be like, this is what you chose and why you chose it. You chose this. So it was literally right here. Once I was dilated enough, he put this long vacuum. It literally looked like a vacuum inside of my vagina, flipped on the switch, turned it on. It was like he was sucking all of my insides out. It was a very powerful source of suction, just sucking the shit out of everything that's on the inside of me, sucking it the fuck out. As it was sucking, you heard the bones cracking, you heard everything. As you hearing it, this canal, this thing that was right next to my head on the desk, you saw the bones, blood, guts, liver, you saw all the baby organs going into this thing. I'm watching it as he's sucking it out of my vagina, sucking it out of my unit. I'm watching everything that's happening. It's mentally torturing me. It is mentally torturing me. Like, why do I even see this? And there's nothing I could do. The procedure doesn't take very long because the suction of the vacuum is very powerful. So it may took 10 minutes to complete. Looking at that broke my insides, broke my heart, broke me spiritually. I couldn't imagine doing it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I couldn't do it. One time was enough for me to say I would never do it again. That broke my spirit, heart, everything. I felt like a piece of shit. I felt awful. They clean up, they leave out the room, the nurse come in. I was in there crying for about 45 minutes. She held my hand for a minute, and then I just fell asleep because I was crying for so long. That's how sad I felt. And just like, oh my God. Now I understand why they said don't have an abortion. It feels like a piece of shit. So after like 45 minutes or whatever, me stop crying. I'm trying to console myself. Then I fell asleep. They come in there and wake me up. And then they was like, is there anybody that can come and pick you up or come and get you? That's when my baby father ended up showing. He was in the waiting area. So he had a car and it's like you're having a baby, so you're bleeding, so they I had the hospital panties on and everything. Take me to the house. I think we was in the hotel still. Took me to the hotel, and I just fell asleep and rested because that was just a really, really bad. It was just bad. I was sick. But again, how my response was so different from my sister's response because she was depressed for about a week, probably longer. I was over it, like mentally, after the next day. I didn't think about it anymore. I felt bad and said, that's something I will never do again. I hope God forgives me for doing that. That was the shittiest feeling I can ever feel. I am sorry for ever even doing it. I will never do it again. But I wasn't sad about it because I knew it was the best because of the situation that I was in. I was jet setting around the world. I couldn't get myself together. I'm still chasing behind my baby daddy. The last thing I needed was somebody else's kid. So I was positive about my decision. I was happy with my choice. But I prefer that just never happen. So I never speak about it, but I don't shy away from it. I don't really get asked, do I get an abortion? I don't really talk about that very much, but I just decided to share this story. So if you're thinking about getting an abortion, really, really think about it if that's really, really something that you're going to do. If you're in a relationship with somebody, really think about that, talk it over with your partner. My situation, I was cheating and then got pregnant by somebody else. I knew deep down that wasn't the life that I wanted. I didn't want to be his baby mama, and it had nothing to do with skin color, because that baby would have came out completely dark, black, but it had nothing to do with it. My baby father, current husband, currently would have known I was cheating on him. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. So I don't know what my life would have been like if I would have had that man's child, but I knew deep down that's not the way I wanted to go. I didn't want his child. So for that, I apologize. I apologize. But that was best for me. I hope, for the love of God, I don't get penalized again, at pearly gates for doing it. I know we don't supposed to. I know that it's not of God's will is to have abortion. I know that. So I don't talk about it. I don't ask because I'm too afraid to knowing the truth. Whatever that truth is, I'm too afraid of knowing. So, ladies, if you're out there looking to find, you want an abortion, you got her pregnant and you didn't plan on getting pregnant, talk to somebody before you make the decision of getting an abortion. Talk to the person that you're pregnant by. Really think about that, because that is going to change your life forever. All right? So, I hope this video informed you a little bit about what it's like to have an abortion, and Hopefully this helps somebody. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.